Solving a two-step equation with signed decimals. All right, for this topic, you're definitely going to want to have a calculator on you, or you're going to end up doing a lot of decimal math by hand, and it's not going to be a lot of fun. So definitely have a calculator on you. This topic is no different than the other topics you've done, other than the fact that it introduces decimals. It's really not that bad. I think you'll see that. I like to draw a little wall underneath my equals sign. So if you've seen any of my previous videos, I've done that. It just helps differentiate one side from another to make sure that you're doing the same thing to both sides. I want to get this u by itself, and that means that I have to get this entire thing by itself. I need to take care of him first before this whole thing can be entirely on its own. If I have a minus 2.4, that means that I'm adding 2.4 to both sides, right? And that will cancel the 2.4s. So on my calculator, I'm going to come in here and do negative 14.9 plus 2.4, and I get negative 12.5. And the u over 5 comes down from above. Maybe I'll erase that arrow because it's going to get in my way. So if u over 5 equals negative 12.5, if I want to get u by itself, I can multiply both sides by 5. And that will cancel that 5 in the denominator. Now, if I had 5u equals negative 12.5, that's when I would be dividing both sides by 5. But if you have u over 5 equal to negative 12.5, you need to multiply both sides by 5. So I'll erase that. So I get u equals, on my calculator, I'm doing negative 12.5 times 5. And I get negative 62.5 as my answer. I can always check my answer by plugging u back in the original equation. Now, I'm only going to do this on one problem. I won't do it on all of them, but it's a nice thing to be able to do in math. So instead of u, I'll use negative 62.5 over 5 minus 2.4 is equal to negative 14.9. On my calculator, I will do negative 62.5 divided by 5, and I get negative 12.5 minus 2.4 is equal to negative 14.9. If I do negative 12.5 minus 2.4 on my calculator, I get negative 14.9 is equal to negative 14.9, which is exactly what I wanted, so I know my answer is correct. Now, you could actually do this entire first part one step in your calculator, but I just did it in 2 steps so that you could see it all written out. Let's go ahead and do another. All right, I'm going to go ahead and draw my wall on the equal sign. I have a goal of getting x by itself. X is right here. We have to leave his denominator on him until it's all by itself. So the party crasher here is this 3. I'm going to take care of that 3 first by subtracting 3 on both sides of the equals. That's why I put my wall there, so that you can see where that equal sign is and you make sure you're doing it to both sides. This x over 8.75 is going to come straight down. This is equal to 10 minus 3 gives me 7. To get x by itself, much like in the last problem, we are multiplying by 8.75. We're multiplying by the denominator so that those cancel. So 7 times 8.75, I'm doing that on my calculator. That gives me x equals 61.25 as an answer. Now, I'm not going to check that right now, but you could plug it back into this original one and check that answer if you needed to. All right, let's go ahead and do one more example. Here we're trying to solve for w. We have 4.1 equals 2w minus 2.3. It looks a little bit different than the other problem that we saw, but I promise it's no more difficult. Now, if it bothers you that the w is on the right-hand side, then you can rewrite this as 2w minus 2.3 equals 4.1. When two things are equal to one another, it doesn't matter which side of the equal they're on, so you are free to flippy-flop the sides, and it will be the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and solve it in its original form, but just know that you could do it like this if that made more sense to you. Just make sure you leave everything as it is on each side. So here, to get the 2w by itself, I'm going to go ahead and add 2.3 to both sides. That will cancel those 2.3s out. 4.1 plus 2.3 is going to be 6.4, equal to 2w. To get w by itself, unlike before where we multiplied, because it's already being multiplied, to undo it we use division. So these 2's would cancel. 6.4 divided by 2, you could do that on your calculator, should come out to be 3.2, equal to w. So w is equal to 3.2. So really, this topic isn't any different than the ones you've already done. It just involves decimals, but don't let those decimals get to you. You got this, you are better than those decimals, and just keep doing what you're doing. Okay, good luck.